Hi, I'm Josh Ozerski, the editor of The Feedbag, and I'm here with molecular gastronomist Mike Cirino. Now, Mike is a brilliant young chef who has the underground supper club called A Razor, a Shiny Knife. Mike, thank you for coming down here to IAC headquarters.
Thank you for having me, sir.
The reason I've asked Mike to come here is because I'm entered in the meatball contest at the New York Wine and Food Festival.
Very seriously.
We're competing with some of the top chefs in New York. Now, you've heard of the chocolate Valrhona cake, right?
Mm-hmm. The liquid center.
Liquid centered cake. Veal Rona. Now what I want to have is a liquid center filled with a velvety hot veal ragu, a 1-inch meatball cross with pork, and we want to have some kind of crispy on the outside, like maybe fry this. Like, how can we do this?
When most people make meatballs, they seem to think in this modern kind of American sense that meatballs are primarily meat. But if you think back to Italian tradition, it's like a blend between 50% meat, 50% breadcrumb. So I think if we go with a nice pork outer crust,
right,
get a good flavor onto that, put a little egg, little breadcrumb in there, that should crisp up real nicely in a deep fry.
Okay.
We'll do the center like you want. We can either do a tomato sauce, like traditional style.
That's too liquidy.
So then what we do is maybe we can do a bolognese, get it nice and veal flavored,
right,
and then just strain it out and make it smooth and silky. We'll gel the sauce so it's kind of like an egg yolk.
Right.
We'll roll the meatball around it, and then when we flash fry them, crisp up the outside, this will liquefy immediately, and we'll have a perfectly cooked outside and a warm, liquidy center inside.
Is it going to be like a problem like with a Juicy Lucy that you bite in the liquid?
And here's the thing. I think I push for a smaller bite so that people can put them in their mouth all in one shot. Why don't we make a flavored crumble for it to supersize that crunchiness?
Right.
And say we make this veal marrow powder that we were talking about. So we take veal marrow, we reduce out the fat, we clarify out the fat, add N-sorbate tapioca maltodextrin, which will turn it to a powder. Mix that powder with a little bit of salt, little panko crumbs, little garlic powder, and what we have is like that. We can even put pistachios in that too, if you want to give it a little nut crunch. But whatever we put on the outside here, the veal flavor is going to be highlighted by the crunch from that panko.
Well, what about if we had a little bit of mascarpone mixed in?
I'm not against that at all. I like cheese in my meatballs. So I think we got two different things that we have to test out when we go to do this. We're going to test out a tomato recipe that's going to be acidic.
Okay. And
then we can test out a cheesy kind of really, not gamey, but really
right,
veal-y kind of center. And between those two, we can probably cut it down.
See, clearly, I've picked the right partner for this project. And by partner, I mean someone that's going to do all the work. Well, Mike, I'm very much looking forward to this. We're going to make a series of videos leading up to the Feedbag's entry in the New York Wine and Food Festival Meatball Contest. Mike Cirino from A Razor, a Shiny Knife, and I'm Josh Ozerski from The Feedbag.